That montage you've just seen, that's probably going to be the most exciting thing you see in this video. I get the feeling that some of you might think I'm trying to be Action Man. Not the case, no. I are more likely to find me sitting in my chair with my feet up with a cold beer watching football. And for you people in America, I'm talking soccer. So, how exciting can you make a watch review? Not very, it would seem. But we'll make a start. We'll start at the beginning, because about 7-8 years ago I bought a Timex Expedition watch, but not the one I'm reviewing, and that's this one. And it's not been that bad. It's done what I wanted it to do, and apart from the fact that the battery's just gone dead a couple of weeks ago, and I'm assuming that's what the problem is, it's worked well without any problems. But it's a little bit too chunky for me. Now let me explain what I'm looking for and why. Firstly, I've got very small hands for a man, and most men's watches, they're just so big and bulky that they just don't look right on my wrist. Take a look at this. This is a normal sized man's hand, and I put my hand next to it and you can see that my hand is substantially smaller than the other one. I'm saying on the left, I'm not sure, it's probably on the right the way you're looking at it. Anyway, you can tell the difference. One's small and one's a proper hand. So I needed something else. Now, the other thing I want from a watch is I want simplicity. I don't want all these buttons and things that tell you the time in 3 different languages and 50 different time zones, and they'll check your pulse and your heart rate, and you can glance at it and it'll give you the coordinates of where you are in the world. No, I don't want any of that. I just want a watch. I want something that I can tell the time with. I also don't want a digital watch, because as I've got older my eyesight's got worse, and I do use glasses for reading. But when I want to use this, which is usually if I'm out backpacking, wild camping, I'm in the tent, and I don't be fumbling for a phone or something like that. I just want a quick glance to see what time it is. And I do have a couple of places where I go to visit friends, and the bedrooms don't have a clock in. And again, without waking myself up fully, I like to just glance at the wrist and see what the time is. Press a button, yeah. That works well. In fact, I'll show you what I was looking for. Take a look at this backlight, and this is off the Timex Expedition Scout. And as you can see, it's quite clear and simple to read. So, that's what we're looking for. A watch with some hands on, analog watch, and one with a backlight. Should be simple enough. Okay. Well, here it is, but this is the original one, and I say the original, we'll come to the other one in a minute. So this fulfilled everything I wanted. It fit on my wrist comfortably, it's relatively light, one button to press here to be able to see the backlight, and I can, from any distance, even out of focus without my glasses on, I can see what time it is. That's great. So what's the story with this one? Well, I had it 12 months and the wristband broke. I say 12 months, it was just after 12 months, and the warranty had run out, but the warranty really only covered the watch anyway. So I thought, fair enough, okay, so I got another one, but I couldn't get an original one at the time. And this watch is a Barton watch band. I believe they're an American company, and I believe that because this is the second one I've had, and this time I couldn't get it on Amazon, and I actually bought it direct from them in America, which obviously cost a little bit more than you don't normally expect for a watch. Great, okay, so I've got the watch and it's telling the time, but after 18 months the backlight stopped working. I'm there in the dark pressing the button and nothing happening. So I thought, battery. So off I went, paid £15 for a new battery, got it back, went in the toilet, closed the door, No backlight still. Took it back to the shop. It was the backlight that was broken. Now, the problem with these Timex watches, I used to have a watch repairer that I used to use in a local town where I used to live. And I visit there quite regularly, and I took this to him, and they used to sell Timex. And he said, we don't stock Timex anymore because Timex won't give us the parts. We cannot repair these watches. So that's something to think about when you're purchasing one. Once it's gone, it's gone. So I've got the watch, no backlight, but it's still telling the correct time. So I've continued to use this as a day watch. Except till, shall we say, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I was out in the hills in Scotland and I noticed it's now started to mist up in the middle, which means there's moisture getting inside it. Now these watches are supposed to be water resistant to 50 metres, but it's now misting up whenever I guess its atmospheric pressure is right and there's enough moisture in the air. So it tells the time, but it's not doing what I want it to do. So I got another one. Exactly the same. I thought maybe I was unlucky with that. It's got some decent reviews on Amazon. It's got 1 or 2 1-star reviews. But yeah, there's some 5-star reviews. I thought maybe I was just unlucky. So I bought this new one. Exactly the same. Now there is a choice of various styles, colours. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen here, you can just see a rough line of what you'll find on Amazon to choose from. But I particularly like this gunmetal colour, and it just, they say people buy dogs to suit their personality. Well, I tend to buy stuff like this to suit my personality, and my personality is outdoor stuff, you know, pretending, as you saw in the clips earlier, being the great adventurer. Yeah. So I've got this watch and I thought, great, it's telling the time. First point, the backlight's working. But then, after I'd had it a little while, about 6 months, I suddenly thought, it's not telling the right time. Every now and then I'll suddenly look at it and it's anywhere up to an hour out. I've got a sneaking suspicion that, because I wear it on this wrist, this knurled nut, which only has 2 functions, to pull out, change the time, press in to look at the backlight, is that catching and getting pulled out slightly and then turning and then closing again. I don't know, I can't be sure. But, which is why, if I just want to tell the time, I keep using this one. So, I've got a watch now that the backlight works, but I can't guarantee that the time is the time. Anyway, we persevere with it a bit longer. And now this one, so that one is 4 years old, this one is 2 years old. And this one sort of gave up the ghost as far as the backlight goes about 8 weeks ago. All of a sudden, the backlight's not working. Just in case anything had changed, I was back in my hometown. I went back to my watch repairman and just asked him the same question, and he gave me the same answer that I told you earlier. So again, I've got another watch that I'm really happy with, apart from the fact there's no backlight. It's telling the correct time when it feels like it. Ah, dear me, I don't know. What shall I do? Well, let's put it over there. Decisions to be made. Now, before I continue, I should mention that I've done a mental health first aid course. And the very first thing they tell you on the course is you must never use the words loony, crazy, bonkers, mad. It's just not allowed in the mental health first aid world. So, I'm going to show you what I did next, and I don't want to hear any of those terms. I got another one, and it arrived about 4 weeks ago, and it's a Timex. But what Timex? I know you're going to find this hard to believe. Well, bugger me. It's another one, another Timex Expedition Scout. Well, what can we say about this one? Well, I've only had it 3 or 4 weeks. It's been up the hills with me in Scotland for 3 or 4 days, and you can see me out there pottering around doing my thing on my Clarky's Adventures YouTube channel. And when I opened it up and I got it all out very nice, I went on to my clock here, my phone, and I set the time to the time on the phone and down to the second, and I can tell you now that this is saying 11:50:45 and this one's saying 11:50:45. So for 3 to 4 weeks this has kept excellent time. That's providing, well, whoever controls that clock on my phone's telling the right time. The backlight works. I'll give you a quick look at that again. So we press the button and you can see the backlight lighting up in the video there. They're all the same and I'm happy with it. But of course I'm not happy with the fact that they keep breaking. And based on that, I personally would advise you not to buy one. If you can find something else that suits all the criteria that you want from a watch, buy something else. Oh, coming back to that montage at the beginning, that wasn't me just putting that in to make out I was a roughy tufty sort of fella. No, it was there for a reason. It's to give you an idea of the environment I've been using this watch in. So we're talking desert, plus 45 degrees C, and then out in the Arctic, minus 28. I say in the Arctic, I wasn't really, well, technically I was in the Arctic. I was in northern Finland and I was told we were inside the Arctic Circle, so I like to tell people I've been to the Arctic. Yeah, a lot of bullshit that is. Anyway, let's get back to the watches. Let's talk about price, and that's what probably influenced me to buy a third one. I mean, surely Timex will realise they've got a problem with these watches and they'll have fixed these issues, and this one's going to be perfect. Anyway, the price, and like I said, that was probably the decider. This watch, 4 years old, $59.99. This one, 2 years old, $59.99. And this one bought around 4 weeks ago, $59.99. So even if the watches haven't got better, you could say, compared to inflation, the price has. So at the end of the day, I'm just thinking, have I got value for money? Probably not. I like to think that I've got to justify everything I do to sort of make excuses in my head why I bought things. So I've decided to tell myself that I haven't actually bought these. What I'm doing is I'm renting them for £30 a year. And I'm hoping this one lasts out the 2 years so I get me $59.99's worth. Well, that's it for that review. Go away, make your decisions, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.